Hello everyone, welcome back, and I want to say hi guys first before you listen to the second episode. Today the story is about very old story. It's from 1880s CE something, and because it's very old, like it's very old story, but it's true story. So it means I try a lot. I try so hard to find pictures, many websites, but I couldn't find that. But what I imagine in my mind and what I want to show you guys is I couldn't find it. A part of me or maybe I will use like AI, but because the new YouTube rules is I afraid about the rules so much. It's events are I got 5 views in the first episode, but it's okay. It is my best because this story, the Murderess woman, and I remember the first time that I knew about this story, I was listen about true crime story is a man true crime story, and then I think about in the past is it have some murderers in woman killer or something. I searched about that, and the first time that I hear this is about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it's still in my mind again, and I really want to share this story to you guys. I learned already how to use an AI to make some amazing video, but I really afraid about the rules. Because of even it's 5 views, but it's important for me. Okay, then let's join the second episode. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Siam Sinister Stories. For this episode, we're traveling back in the time to the reign of King Rama V. It was a period of immense and prosperity in Siam, the country we now call Thailand. But even during this era of progress, a truly dark case emerged. A story so brutal that is still discussed today. This case isn't just about a crime. It's a chilling reminder of human cruelty and the dangerous power some people held over others. What makes this case so historically significant is that it involved a female criminal whose notorious murder shocked the nation. So, without further ado, let's begin the story. When the tragic death of a slave becomes the beginning of a shocking case that shakes the whole country, it makes you wonder how such a thing could happen. Who would have thought that the tears and blood of a helpless woman would bring light to the justice process, even in an era where slaves had almost no voice? The brutal story of this one woman who used a slave to get what she wanted, and then to really cruel revenge was so shocking that it became a huge scandal in King Rama V's time. It was so bad. The king himself had to step in and handle the case, even though he didn't usually get involved with stuff like that. Our story begins with Amdaeng Yu, a woman from a respectable family. Her mother, Amdaeng and grandmother were both royal cushion specialists in the Grand Palace, which is the highest honor for a chief. Because of this, she grew up learning how to cook amazing savory and sweet dishes, eventually becoming a royal cooking specialist herself under a supervisor named Thao Pipat Ocha. For her personal life, however, was less than perfect. She married Mom Ratchawong Sari at 17, but the marriage ended after about 2 years due to a serious argument. Well, I want to explain Mom Ratchawong is a title for a great-grandchild of a king. She then went back to live with her old boss in the Grand Palace before falling in love with Luang Prang Satan, a high-ranking official. He requested her hand in marriage from Queen during the reign of King Rama V, and the Queen granted his wish. The couple lived together for more than 20 years and had 3 children together. But tragically, all of them passed away when they were young. They lived in a home near the Klong Khu Mueang Canal, close to what is now the National Museum. Things changed for the better for her husband though. He was promoted to a higher rank from Luang Prang Satan to be Prabalu Singhanat, and was put in charge of the royal kitchen for the front palace. EU status rose with him. She became known as Amdaeng Yu, and now had many servants working for her. I want to explain again about the word kunai. Kunai is a respectful title used for high-ranking married women in Thai society. Despite her new status, Kunai felt lonely. This led her to drink heavily and start a secret affair with one of her male servants named Ai Hai. She was in her 40s, and the affair went on for more than 2 years. Nobody dared to speak up for fear of her theories. Her husband, the poor guy, had no idea. But here to it, Ai Hai was also in a secret relationship with another servant, a woman named Yi Kliang. Yi Kliang was a regular servant, and in that era, servants had almost no rights. Their lives depended entirely on their master. On July 17, 1881, Kunai Yu's husband returned home unexpectedly and caught her and Ai Hai in the act by peeking through a crack in the wall. He completely lost it. He hit Kunai Yu with an umbrella and had Ai Hai whipped 50 times with the Rattan cane and shackled in the kitchen for 5 days. But for Kunai Yu, well, nothing more than that one hit. It's believed he still loved her too much to do more. This is where Amdaeng Yu's jealousy took over. She became convinced that one of the servants had snitched, and her prime suspect was Yi Kliang. She knew Yi Kliang worked closely with her husband, and she had also found out about Yi Kliang's own relationship with Ai Hai. In her mind, it's all point to Yi Kliang as the one who betrayed her. filled by alcohol and lead. Kunayu confronted Ikliang. Ikliang denied everything, but it only made Kunayu angrier. She beat Ikliang with a piece of cement wood until she was covered in bruises. Well, cement wood is a type of mangrove wood from the region. So Ikliang was bad as hell about the beating. That night, she crept over to the kitchen balcony where Ai was chained up. She grabbed his manhood and squeezed until he woke up with a painful jolt. The next morning, Ai reported to Kunayu that Ikliang had squeezed his genitals the night before in fit of rage. This was the last straw. Kunayu called Ikliang in for another interrogation. Ikliang, tired of denying it, finally said something that sealed her fate. I wouldn't harm something that we both share. This one sentence ignited a fire in Amdaeng Yu. It wasn't just a confession. It was a hill. It completely humiliated her as the kunai and the main wife. Her dignity was shattered, and her rage, shame, and jealousy went through the roof. Amdaeng Yu was no longer just punishing Ikliang to get the truth. She was getting revenge, and her actions become unimaginably cruel. On August 8, 1881, she immediately had Ikliang chained up. Throughout the day, whenever her anger failed, she would grab the bamboo stick and whip Ikliang. Later that afternoon, she saw Ikliang cooking rice and was instantly reminded of those defiant words. In a blind rage, Kunayu kicked Ikliang to the ground. Then she tore off Ikliang's salon and grabbed a red-hot piece of cement wood from the stove. She then plunged this burning piece of wood into Ikliang's vagina, not once, but 2 or 3 times. Yes, it's terrible. A few hours later, Kunayu saw Ikliang again, and the anger came back. She had 3 servants, Ai, Isot, and Etienne, hold Ikliang down, hit her in the face with a stick, and then burn off her public hair with a matchstick. Satisfied, she had Ikliang chained to a pole downstairs for 2 days. Two days later, Ikliang's stepmother Amdaeng Yu came to visit her. Horrified by what she saw, she begged to buy Ikliang's freedom, but Kunayu refused. The stepmother went to find Prabhalu Singh Hanat at the palace. But while she was gone, Kunayu ordered Ikliang to go take a bath. As Ikliang slowly walked down the stairs, Amdaeng Yu kicked her. Ikliang fell, hitting her face on the ground. her left arm was broken. She was so weak. She couldn't even turn her face away as she was dragged down the stairs. An hour later, on August 10, 1881, Eglin couldn't take the pain anymore and died. The merciless Kunayu, when she found out Eglin was dead, she told all her servants to keep it a secret. She then ordered I2 and Old Siam to split some bamboo to make a splint and wrap up Egling's bodies. They put the cloths in the boat and tied it up under the house. She sent Han to go tell Prabanlu at the front palace that Eglin had suddenly died from fever. Prabanlu lodged home and told Ibua to get I2, La, and Yu from Klong Suan Mu. He told those 4 slaves to take the body and bury it. After giving the orders, he went back to work without ever seeing what Egling's body looked like or how she really died. The 4 slaves took Egling's body on a boat and rowed to Wat Sang Wei, which was right by the mouth of the Bang Lampu Canal. They tried to cremate her there first because it was a temple close by, but the undertaker refused to accept it without an inspection, noticing the clear signs of torture. The servants tried to lie, saying the body belonged to a reformed Vietnamese person and couldn't be examined, but the undertaker wasn't having it. So, the 4 slaves had to carry Egling's body back down to the boat. They rowed across the river to Wat Dusikdaram, but ran into the same issue. They hurt either unless they undid the bamboo splint to inspect the body, which was the rule. They had to send Yu across the river to tell Prabanlu what the undertaker wanted. So Prabanlu sent an official, Khun Visay Sanghan, with Yu to the temple. They undid the splint and found a bunch of blues and found on Egling's body, some of them still fresh and bleeding. Seeing the body was killed unnaturally, the undertaker still refused to bury it. Khun Visay and the 4 slaves were stuck. They had no choice but to leave the body at the temple and row back to report to Prabanlu. All of this from when Ian and his friends carried the body off the boat to their agreement with the undertaker and Khun Visay was seen by Nai Nu, a good citizen who happened to be at Wat Dusikdara. He thought something was up and watched their every move. The next day, Nai Nu reported the matter to Khun Warinsan John, the local police officer. An autopsy was then performed on Egling's body. The results were shocking. The autopsy report detailed her brutal assault with evidence of 3 skull fractures, a swollen and bruised face, a broken bone in the right and left arm, and 7 bruise marks from stick all over her body. This was the turning point. It was no longer a suspicion. It was clear evidence that Ikliang was murdered. This triggered a full investigation, with witnesses being called in, and all of Amdaeng Yu's cruel acts coming to light. When all the evidence pointed to Amdaeng Yu, she was arrested. The case was so serious that King Rama V himself took a direct interest to ensure a fair and transparent trial. He wrote a personal letter to the judges, urging them to wake up from your slumber and reconsider the verdict, as he found it incomplete. The king pointed out that they had not properly identified who helped Amdaeng Yu torture Ikliang. While Amdaeng Yu got the death penalty, others involved also faced consequences. Her husband, Prabhalu Singhanat, lost his reputation and status, and the king increased his fine, giving the money to Nainu as a reward for his good citizenship. The servant who helped her directly, Ai Han, Ai Sot, and Etienne, were found guilty of conspiracy to conceal the body and faced flogging and prison time. The other servants, who simply knew but did not report the crime, received lighter punishment as a warning to everyone else. The king, however, showed mercy, pardoning Ai Hai because he had already been punished by his master and was not a participant in the murder. The final scene of this story takes place on October 15, 1881. Amdaeng Yu was taken to an execution ground at Wat Kok or Wat Prapachai. After being given 90 lashes, she was beheaded. Her head was then put on public display. The crowd was so large that the temple pavilion collapsed, though luckily no one was hurt. Amdaeng Yu, who had been stayed to calm her, still managed to cry out her final words, "Kill me quickly, kill me quickly." She was beheaded with a single stroke. It was a brutal way to show everyone the absolute finality of her punishment and to make sure people knew what would happen if they commit such a crime. In the end, Ikliang's death was the spark that exposed Amdaeng Yu's brutality, which led to her investigation and her eventual death sentence. The case was so shocking that King Rama V personally got involved to make sure the victims got justice. The name Ikliang has since become a powerful symbol. Her story is a testament to the lives of innocent people who face violence, and it gives us a glimpse into the social condition, the lack of rights for servants, and how the monarchy often served as the last refuge for common people back then. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Siam Sinister Stories. Your support means the world as I share this dark tale from Thailand's history. Join me again next time for another deep dive into the land of smiles. And Sam, don't forget to like and share and subscribe, and you can comment everything same. Bye.